Something's fishy.
Hey guys, I'm Shark Zone, and in today's video, I'll be doing an advanced guide to Annie mid in Season 10. Annie is a great burst mage who has the ability to one-shot any squishy target with her combo, leaving them stunned and not able to move or fight back. She sets up really strong engages for her team which are game changing, since whoever gets stunned by her R will usually die immediately. The only thing that's bad about her is she has no mobility, and if engaged on, she will usually die, especially if it's a gank. So her abilities have changed a little bit over time, giving her a better engage with movement speed from her E, but has been the same type of abilities ever since release. Her passive Pyromania is shown above her head, which basically makes it so that every 4 spells, the next offensive one will provide a short duration stun, which is especially good for peeling carries or engaging fights. This is why, back in Season 3 or 4, Annie was sometimes played as a support, but never is now due to her being so weak in the laning phase in comparison to others. Her Q is a point and click ability where she throws a fireball dealing magical damage and also resets off minion or monster kill. This is why Annie is one of the best champs in low elo, because she is so easy to farm on and usually averages around 20 more CS than her opponent. If you are new to the game or want to play a non-hard champ, Annie is the way to go. I'm not saying this will guarantee you winning on her, but generally you will pick her up a lot faster in comparison to the other champions. Like for instance, how you know you picked up a champion and know them to a good enough level is when your win rate goes over 50% with a bare minimum of 10 games played. A champion like Cassiopeia in lower ranks may take someone 50 to 100 games to get over a 50% win rate, but Annie on the other hand will generally get you a higher win rate after 8 games of practicing and learning her mechanics and skills. Annie's W is an ability where she throws fire in a cone shape in front of her, dealing AoE burst damage. This does do less damage than Annie's Q, but it's really good when enemies are close together or stunned. Annie's E is what got changed a couple months back, where now it finally gives movement speed and makes it easier to engage fights with your stun. When you use it, generally you are trying to get another stack on top of your passive, but it also provides you magic resist and armor, both great things to have, especially when focused in team fights. Assassins and mages have a hard time bursting you from 100 to 0, because with this shield, it will usually let you live with very low HP and may help you out if you are getting ganked. Now finally, Annie's R is where she summons another creature onto the rift called Tibbers, who deals a ton of burst AoE damage and acts as a super minion for around 30 seconds or if he dies. He bashes anything closest to him and deals a good burn damage around him. This is the key ability paired with your stun to set up fights and win games. Usually the goal is to flash R with your passive, and what this will do is basically make there a guaranteed stun on at least 2 of their important targets in the backline. It follows you wherever you go and can be teleported on by teammates. Your skill max order is RQWE, because R being your most important spell, Q being your most damaging normal spell, and is used the most throughout the game due to its reset mechanic. W because it provides solid AoE burst, then E because you're really only using this to get your passive back up. So for your runes, there are many pages people go, same with her item build, but generally what's on screen right now is what's being played the most in high elo. It gives you extra burst damage to your combo with Electrocute proccing every time you go in, and extra movement speed from Celerity in the sorcery tree. I really recommend this rune page with Electrocute, or sometimes even switch that out with Predator, but since you get tons of movement speed and dashes with items you buy, again, Electrocute is probably best. Dark Harvest is being taken over Electrocute for some reason, and is actually a viable option, but I just see Electrocute provide more damage and help you in close trades to getting your snowball started. Annie is one of those champs where once you gain a lead, you are able to control the lane, one-shotting them outside of turret range. Items like Merc Treads, Banshees, Hex Drinker, or QSS is your counter, because those items let enemies outlive your burst or counter your stun. Typically, those items aren't bought in lower ranks, so you don't have to worry about that, but generally, as soon as you get Lost Chapter, you are able to one-shot squishies with your combo. The reason why you want to take Predator or Water Walk in the secondary tree is to roam throughout the game and provide pressure that way. Predator could also be helpful in teamfights in landing your R on as many targets as possible. So for your summoner spells, the most general one you want to take is Flash and Ignite, because Flash used both offensively and defensively to set up plays with your R or to run away due to you being immobile. This is what I would take every game up until mid diamond because it really sets you up for a really powerful early to mid game and builds your momentum. So the other runes I would take instead of Ignite are Teleport in case you get counterpicked and want to get to lane faster, or Roam. Cleanse is rarely taken versus people like Lux or Twisted Fate, both champs that rely on their stun or snare to kill you. Highly recommend taking Exhaust versus assassins you can't handle and don't outlive their burst, but if you're skilled enough, you can try to just take Ignite and attempt to win the lane harder. A lot of the things you build on Annie is situational and dependent on the game and situation. The only way you can build and get the right things every single game is by playing many games on her and knowing what's best in each situation. So for your item build, generally there is a one-shot build where you go Luden's Echo into anything that gives a lot of AP like Zonia's. Or there's a page which gives you such a strong mid game and it's all about engaging and getting your damage off, which is Proto Belt into Rallies. Not saying that this build does no damage, but it'll usually take your full one-shot combo to kill them with R, W, Q, Ignite instead of RQ on squishies. Also, Rallies gives Tibbers a slow, which is really useful in sticking onto targets for a long time. Proto Belt gives you the strongest early game possible with a gap closer and quite a bit of AP burst. With your E in Proto Belt, it's really hard to escape Annie and is especially good when roaming and enemies are trying to run away from you. Annie can build tons of things, and again it comes down to situation. Ghost as a summoner spell was taken a ton during season 6 and 7, but after the nerfs where there's a build up and time to run the fastest, it was never taken again, especially with better options and things you could take instead of that. Predator, Proto Belt, Rallies in your E make up Ghost for the most part and isn't necessary anymore, especially with the better options. So for your laning phase, generally you want to farm with your Q and auto attack at super long ranges to harass opponents pre-6 or before your first back. There isn't much you could do because you don't have enough damage to kill them, and duels will mostly end up in the enemy's favor in the mid lane. Once you back and pick up Lost Chapter, this is where you have room to poke them out in lane with Q, or all in them if they're low enough with your full combo once you get R. Use your E as the last thing to charge up your passive, then run towards them with the extra movement speed you gain. You can also roam if you want to, and if you have boots, that would make it even better. Don't underestimate your damage because even if they're super low by the end of your full combo, your Q will be back up in 5 seconds and you can kill them by then. There's a lot you could do and it's really good to get ahead at that point, but if you don't stress about it too much because you will still be useful mid to late game if you farm your way back into the game. The hardest thing, which isn't necessarily hard on Annie, but especially in low elos, it's landing your R. You may misclick, under, or overestimate your cursor area, causing you to miss your R. With just a little bit of practice, you should be able to land it consistently in no time. If you don't feel comfortable all-landing assassins in lane because you think it's too risky, feel free to hold your 4 stacks on your passive and only using your R when they engage on you first, and you have a huge minion advantage. You can also wait till your jungler comes and use your R as CC so that way it's easier to kill them. So as for your team fighting, your main goal is to stun as many targets as possible with your R stun and do as much damage to important targets. This can be landed easier with Proto Belt, your E, or Flash. Flash is really convenient in giving you an instant way to their backline and stunning at the same time bursting their squishies. That can be game changer with your team able to follow up on that super easily. Let's say your ADC is really ahead and getting focused by assassins. The second playstyle you could do is the peel type, where you use your stun and damage to peel off for your important carry. Either one is great and it really comes down to situation again. Try your best to find out which is the best playstyle in your specific game because there isn't a 100% answer each time. Most of the time you want to go for their backline, and an item to save you from being focused is going to be Zonia's. This will stop them from instantly deleting you after your stun wears off and gives your team time to finish the job you started. It puts your team in a dream situation where they can throw their skill shots so it will land, and supports don't have to worry about being crashed on by assassins. With a simple kit, it can be highly effective, causing you to win tons of games fast even as a new player. This is one of the champions I highly recommend you pick up if you are a starter, and can be super useful in Diamond and Master tier. Playing against long range mages seems to be the hardest for Annie since she gets poked under tower, and the best way to counter that is to take Teleport and Flash, then roam. If you are attempting to fight them in general, since mages are always shoved up, have your jungler come to assist you. It will make things easier, and when they do shove you out of lane, use your teleport to come back and attempt to save your tier 1 tower. Roaming is the best way to gain a lead through counter picks or losing lane situations, and helps your team out in the process. If taking drag early, like if your jungler is not level 6, it may be beneficial for you to use Tibbers as a source of minions so that way it's easier to take drag. Anyways guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, please smash that like button because it really helped me out a lot. Comment what you want to see next and subscribe to this in the future. If you haven't, make sure to follow me on twitch.tv where you can watch some of these videos live. I'm Shark Zone here with another video, and I'm out. Peace!
妄想がね暴走する